temper smoked pulled lamb flatbreads. Now you tell me that doesn't look great. So this all starts with a 2.5 kilogram bone-in, rack-out lamb shoulder. Big, fatty, and full of connective tissue. That's exactly the type of cut that loves a low and slow. This, I'm going to pretty much leave alone. On top here, you'll find a layer of fat, membrane, and connective tissues. And lamb shoulder needs some of that for this long cook. So we're only going to take off what is loose, thick, or waxy. And this is all I've removed. Everything else can stay and do its job. So we're just going to score this really gently, just to open up that fat a little, give somewhere for the rub to sit, and help things render. Lamb shoulder is quite fatty and rich, and it can handle a big flavoured rub. So today I'm going to be using temper, savoury, slightly sweet, peppery, earthy, with a gentle bit of heat. And we're looking for a nice even coating on all the sides. And then I place it on a rack and put it in the fridge overnight. And as you can see, the surface is dry, the rub settled in, and now we're ready for some smoke. And today I've decided to use the KJ again. I'm going to run this around 120 degrees with a couple of chunks of apple wood for that nice sweet smoke. And as a bit of an experiment, I've been sent this Typhus Sync Gold, which is apparently the next big thing in connectivity. So this thing uses sub 1G, which should be better than standard Bluetooth at penetrating through the KJ, through a few walls and back in the house. And although it's got Wi-Fi, AI and all that shit built in, if they claim this is better connectivity, I'm going to stick to the 1G and see how we get on. Once the lamb is in, I'm not going to check this until it's around 65 degrees internal. We're looking for that rub to set, the colour to build, and that surface to stop looking wet. Because if you wrap too early, you're basically going to be steaming that bark before it's had a chance to become interesting. To be fair, you can't knock the connectivity of this. And that means I can crack on with the recipe for the website. So now I've got the bark on, this can go in a tray. Place this lamb on a bed of onions and pour the stock around the lamb. And then we're going to cover it and leave it alone till it's around 90 degrees internal. And this isn't about boiling it, this is about finishing a tough shoulder joint slowly so all that connective tissues break down. So now we're about 90 degrees, just checking for tenderness. A little bit tough here, so I'm going to wrap it up and leave it for another 10-15 minutes just to get that final bit done. And that gives me plenty of time to knock up a quick garlic yoghurt. Don't worry, the recipe will be on the website. Once it's done, we need to let it rest for at least an hour, which gives us some time to make some flatbreads. And making flatbreads couldn't be easier. And don't worry, the full recipe will be on the website. And to cook the flatbreads, I'm going to rely on the FlexFlame. And you can be as precise or rustic as you like. And these things won't take long to cook. And we can char the lemons at the same time. So now we can check out how we're done with the lamb. That says it all really. And now for the bit you've all been waiting for. Just look at it. That is fucking lovely. And all we've got to do now is dish up. And next we put the lamb on, some red onions. And then because I'm feeling fancy, some pomegranate seeds. Bit of colour for the gram. A squeeze of lemon. Now that is fantastic.